Hi guys, my name is Adrian Rodriguez, and this tutorial is going to be on how to take and realize when something's wrong with someone's vital signs. So the four vital signs that we're going to be talking about today are body temperature, blood pressure, pulse rate, and breathing rate. These are four that realistically, like with the exception of your blood pressure, you could clearly see in an individual that you're walking by. So the importance of this all is if you're walking down the street, and obviously this is more tailored to pre-med students, but if you're walking down the street and you see someone with a couple of the symptoms, um, it'll be a very clear indication as to something is wrong with them. And just knowing which sign correlates to what like they're representing. So for example, someone looks a little pale, that has to do with their blood rate, with their blood pressure. So, or their pulse rate, like it's like one or the other. So if you look at that, you could easily just go check their pulse rate. If it's not that, it's blood pressure. And blood pressure is a little different because you need a machine for that, which I bought to show you guys all. But more or less, like you should be able to figure it out on the way. So to begin, the first one we're going to be talking about is your body temperature. Now, the body temperature is another thing that you kind of need a tool for, but not necessarily. So the average body temperature for us would be 97.8 degrees Fahrenheit to 99.1 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, this varies between age. Obviously, if you're an infant, it's going to be a lot different than compared to if you're an older person. But more or less, that's the range that is used. So if you don't have a thermometer and, you're just not carrying around a thermometer in the middle of the street, what you can do is something that my mother used to do to me. Now, you won't be able to exactly get the right number, but with your hand, and you could feel it, you should be able to more or less kind of feel whether it's too hot or too cold. So by doing this, you put the back of your hand, 4 fingers on your forehead, and it should be a little warm. It shouldn't be cold, or it shouldn't be burning. And you hold it there for a minute. My mother always told me that you feel that, this is gonna be hot or cold. Another thing would then be the breathing rate. Now, breathing rate is very easy to determine, as just by talking to someone, you see they're inhaling and they're exhaling, and that's how you count breathing rate. So breathing rate should be between 12 and 18 breaths per minute. That is the average. Obviously, if it's a little over, a little under, like, you could go with that. But it should be between normally 12 and 18 breaths per minute. And the last one that we're gonna talk about and not demonstrate is pulse rate. And pulse rate should be 60 to 100 beats per minute. Now, the way that you do this is there's many different ways. You could do your pulse here on your wrist, right here. You could do it here, right behind your jawline. You could do it on your ankle, which is the second strongest vein, or you could do it here by your hip, which is actually the strongest vein, and that is the one that is going to give you the best number. So on the street, most likely you're going to do wrist or you're going to do neck. So you're going to place your hand there, and with the timer, most likely on your phone, you're going to set that to a minute, and then just start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on and so forth. I don't want to make that the whole thing, but yeah, that's about it. So then, last but not least, what we're going to talk about is blood pressure. Now, blood pressure, I have a machine, and we're going to bring that up in the next clip. Okay, so here we have just a regular blood pressure machine. So the average blood pressure is about 120 over 80 or 90 over 60 millimeters mercury, which is mmHg. And that's just, it's like centimeters. It's just a way to measure it. That's the measurement for that. So again, it's 90/60 or 120/80. That's the average. So here in the box, you're gonna have the monitor and the sleeve. So the way that you set this up is you would put batteries in the machine, and I'll show you the machine later. The machine is pretty straightforward. There's a hole here, and that's where you're gonna connect the sleeve. So to begin, the way that the sleeve works is it's going to be pumping air in, and there's a little sensory part right in here where this tube is, which is actually going to measure your blood pulse, your blood rate. So the way that you put this on is you slide it on your left arm, because your left is closest to your heart. This part right here should go on the crease and the indent in your arm. It's obviously a little hard to put it on myself, but you put it on tight and adjust. Again, the left arm, this is where your artery is, so that's the best place to put it, right? So then, this string, this wire, you're gonna connect to right here. And then, obviously, just press start. So it should inflate. Obviously, you should just put your hand down, relax your hand. If it's tense, it's gonna give you a different reading. So it's just gonna count up. Right now it's inflating. Just a little FYI, yesterday I took my blood pressure and it was a little bit high, but I'm okay, so we're just gonna go with it. Right, so the number is 151/99. Again, a little bit high, but that's okay. I'm okay. So it's just stress. But other than that, like, that is what the average thing, and you're gonna get normally again between 120/80. And this machine actually didn't cost too much. It cost $20 something at Target. So if you're really interested in this, you should go buy one, because it's actually very useful. For example, I use this pretty much every day back at home when I take care of my grandpa. And it gives me blood pressure, breathing rate, I told you how to tell, temperature, or your body temperature with a thermometer, or you could use your hands and kind of figure it out. And last but not least, your pulse rate, which actually this tells you, and my pulse rate is 80, which is within the range as well. All right, thank you guys.